Welcome to CHAINCHAT, a podcast driven by our desire to unlock the dialogue surrounding the ever-growing and incredibly exciting digital world.
We are your hosts, Mihi and Nicola, two women from the legal world who are passionate about making this space relevant, relatable and accessible to everyone. Let's chat. So, welcome back to episode 4. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. This is our first episode to drop independently of our launch, and today we are getting into the juicy. Today we're talking about Bitcoin and whether it's illegal. Can you tell I'm a lawyer? This is like lawyer nerd stuff, but I promise, even if you're not a lawyer, you'll get something out of this episode. Anyways, let's crack on. Before we do, I just want to reiterate that none of this information is financial or legal advice, and what we're sharing is only our personal opinions.
So, is Bitcoin illegal? The short answer is yes and no, and I know that you guys are going to love that, but just hear me out. Basically, as we know, different countries have different laws, and something that is legal in one country, like smoking marijuana, is illegal in other countries, like New Zealand, for now. Countries generally do their own thing when it comes to their own laws, subject always to any international treaties that they're bound to. Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrency for that matter, and the regulations in respect of it, or lack thereof, is dependent on the country.
So there are rumours that by regulating or creating laws to control cryptocurrency in a particular country can be a bit of a worry. But if you're investing into crypto, regulation can bring some stability to a super volatile market. Basically what that means is by bringing in some form of legal control, there is less risk, let's say, that when you use money to buy crypto, that crypto coin doesn't drop in value. Now I say this with a grain of salt, because much like the share market, which is very heavily regulated, it still cannot be controlled entirely, and prices and value will continue to rise and fall as the market determines. So today, Bitcoin is currently legal in the US, the EU, Canada, Australia, Japan, Mexico, the UK, and more importantly, New Zealand. El Salvador, though, has taken the next step and has now made Bitcoin legal tender. So what that means is in El Salvador, you can now use Bitcoin like you would cash at your local store, or to pay for petrol, or to even receive a wage. So in the other countries like New Zealand, Bitcoin isn't legal tender, but it doesn't mean it's illegal. You can still invest in it and you can still use it if someone is willing to accept it as a form of payment.
At this moment, Bitcoin is absolutely illegal, 100% banned in Algeria, Bangladesh, China, Egypt, Iran, Morocco, Nepal, Qatar, and Tunisia.
One of the arguments against regulating crypto was that crypto was really designed to allow for innovation in the digital world. So let me break this down a bit. In general, money is controlled by banks, the wealthy, and governments. It often feels secretive, and sending money to and from different countries can be a really complex process. Not always, but generally. Crypto is all about emphasizing decentralization. So if you're not sure on the role of decentralization in the bigger crypto Web3 metaverse world, then check out our OrixGold videos on YouTube, where we break it down more in depth. So back to decentralization. The reason decentralization is such a big draw for digital innovators is because it can allow you to work internationally in the digital world and move money in and out around the world without that process being controlled by big banks, governments, and bureaucracy. And so with this in mind, when we talk about regulation, how can we ever regulate a currency that was built for the purpose of decentralization without the control of government and big banks?
Leading on from that, I suspect that one of the reasons that there is this overarching belief that crypto or Bitcoin is illegal, and when I say overarching belief, I mean you start typing it in onto Google and someone's already been typing it. It's like the most searched answer is Bitcoin illegal. So people are obviously asking the question. And I think it's because people either know or maybe subconsciously believe, and they're right, that Bitcoin has been used to finance illegal activity, and we know that for sure. Tax evasion is a big one, although I do think as time progresses and governments jump on the crypto train, that this is one of the things that they're trying to regulate first. Like here in New Zealand, it is legal to be paid like for your job, for your employment in crypto. I don't know if it happens that frequently. We did see that one example. Nick and I were looking a few weeks ago and we did find one example of like a fintech company advertising jobs, and they noted in the job ad that they were going to be paying in crypto, but I haven't seen it anywhere else at this stage. Have you?
No, that was yeah, the one example. But also, I think that particular company, or that particular business was working in crypto. Like the role was for a
Exactly.
crypto based role. So yeah,
Exactly. So that kind of made sense anyway. We didn't really question it because it was like, oh, okay, this is the kind of role that it is. It makes sense that they would then be paying in crypto. But even if you are getting paid in crypto to do your normal job, it's still subject to tax implications, the same ones that we are subject to, those of us who get paid in normal money, normal New Zealand
mm-hmm.
dollars if you live in New Zealand. I think people just think that if you have money in crypto, or if you're even investing in any kind of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or otherwise, there's this kind of belief that, oh, you're doing it because you're being a little bit sneaky, like you've obviously got some kind of sneaky
Agenda, some kind of
vendetta. Yeah.
agenda. Yeah, you're on the dark web.
Yes.
That's what I've been
Yeah.
asked.
And I think that's because it just hasn't really been mainstream. We haven't been having these conversations in the mainstream. And so people are very suspicious of things that they don't understand. But it is also being used for illegal purposes. So, in terms of other Bitcoin funded illegal activities, we're talking about illegal drugs, human trafficking, all of the things that we understand to exist on the black market now exists in a kind of black e-commerce space. And we can put that down to crypto being among the largest unregulated market in the world. It is a big problem and certainly one that we are quite interested in just with our legal backgrounds.
Yeah, so with all of that in mind, what do you think? Do you think regulators will ever get to grips with crypto, or could you see your country following suit with El Salvador and one day declaring Bitcoin as legal tender? Like Mahi said, you can be paid a salary in New Zealand using Bitcoin. Um, and it is becoming a little bit more mainstream if you're entering into that fintech space where you're working with Web3, blockchain, or crypto. But do you see your job today being paid in crypto in the future? Who knows?
Let us know what you think. I reckon I could see it happening in New Zealand one day for sure. I mean, it is legal here, and if your employer can pay you in it, I can't see how it doesn't have the potential to become legal tender here one day, but you never know. I'm not a time traveler. I wish I was, but so far, not the case. But what do you think? Connect with us on Instagram, YouTube, and on our OrixGold LinkedIn page. All of those links are in the description, and otherwise, we will chat to you next week. Take care.